I used to believe life had a rhythm. You go to work, you come home, you kiss the woman you love, and you fall asleep with her breathing steady next to you. You trust that rhythm. You don't question it, not really, not when she's smiling at open houses and talking about how this or that backyard would be perfect for the kids we always said we'd have. But life doesn't have rhythm. It has landmines. And I stepped on one the day I brought flowers to my wife's office. Her name is Natalie. We met 8 years ago in a half-empty house she was staging. I was the IT guy fixing the smart thermostat, she was the rising star at the agency, dressed like $1,000,000 and talking to the furniture like it was a client. I remember thinking she had a real gift, not just with homes, but with people. Me included. She made me feel like I belonged in her world, even when I still felt like I was learning to walk in it. Fast forward to now, well, now as it was then, we were married 5 years, owned a condo with plans to upgrade, and every Sunday, we flipped through listings like kids flipping through toy catalogs. One day, she'd say, "This'll be ours." And I believed her. I really did. That Tuesday afternoon, I left work early. My contract had finally been approved, a big one, with a client I'd been chasing for a year. A raise was coming, benefits were getting better, and I thought, why not surprise her? Bring her some lilies, maybe take her out for dinner. She wasn't answering her phone, but I figured she was with a client. I even told myself it'd be fun, show up with a grin and a bouquet, like some old-school romantic. I parked outside the agency. It was glass and steel and all that modern stuff, and her name was stenciled on the window under the agency's logo. Natalie Morgan, Senior Realtor. I remember feeling proud, standing there with flowers like a dope. I didn't even make it past reception before the world tilted. The receptionist, a new girl, barely looked 20, gave me this awkward smile and said, "Oh, hey, Natalie's in the staging room." "Perfect," I said. "I'll surprise her." I still remember how her eyes shifted. Just for a second. The staging room was down the hall, third door on the right. I pushed it open. And I saw her. It wasn't graphic. Not in the way you'd think. But it was unmistakable. Natalie was standing between the man she always said was her harmless partner, Derek, and the conference table. He was brushing something from her collarbone. Her blouse was half-buttoned. Her lipstick was smudged. And the look on her face wasn't shock. It was guilt. He turned first, muttering something like, "Oh hell," and she followed, her face draining like someone pulled the plug. My first instinct was to laugh. Honest to God, I almost did. It felt like a scene from a bad drama. But then it hit me, this was my drama. "Hey," I said. Just that. Neither of them spoke. I looked at the flowers in my hand. Lilies. Her favorite. I placed them gently on the side table, like I was laying flowers on a grave. Then I left. No words. No shouting. Just walked down the hallway, past the receptionist who suddenly couldn't look me in the eye, and out the front door. My legs moved on their own. I got to the car and sat there with the engine running, like maybe the hum would drown out the sound of my heart caving in. I didn't cry. Not then. Instead, I started remembering. Our first date, Italian, awkward, me spilling sauce on my shirt. The first apartment, tiny, with a shower that hissed like a snake. The miscarriage, 2 years ago. The one we barely talked about because it hurt too much. All of it started playing in my mind like a film I didn't ask to watch. That night, she came home like nothing happened. I didn't say a word. Just told her I had a headache and slept on the couch. But inside, something had cracked. And once it cracks, it never quite seals again. The next morning, she made coffee like she always did, almond milk for her, splash of cream for me. She even hummed. Hummed. Like her blouse hadn't been undone the day before in a room meant for closing deals, not opening wounds. I watched her from behind the newspaper. Not reading, just watching. Wondering. Did it start with a flirt? A drink after an open house? Was it the late nights at the office, or maybe the real estate conference she went to last fall, the one I couldn't join because of work? I was supposed to trust her. I did trust her. And now, even the way she stirred her coffee felt like a lie. I might be late tonight, she said casually. There's a twilight showing over on East Ridge. I nodded. Need me to pick up dinner? She looked surprised. No, I'll probably just grab something. I smiled, just enough. Not too much. The kind of smile you use when you're hiding your cards. The moment she left, I didn't go to work. I went to the showing. East Ridge was a tidy cul-de-sac, all manicured lawns and cookie-cutter perfection. The kind of place you'd raise kids if you were still dreaming. She was already inside when I pulled up, her car parked neat in the driveway. The lights were on, music low through the windows. Romantic jazz. Predictable. I didn't knock. I watched. 10 minutes later, he arrived. Derek. Still wearing that same smug smirk like life never made him pay for anything. He let himself in with a key. A key. I didn't know what I hated more in that moment, his confidence or my stupidity. I waited. 10 minutes. Then 20. Then I left. I drove aimlessly, like the city owed me an answer. And when none came, I ended up parked outside my brother's house. He wasn't home. But his porch swing didn't mind my company. I sat there for an hour, trying to figure out when I stopped being a husband and became a prop in her staged life. That night, when she came home, she had that glow again. That fake kind of tired that's supposed to say, I worked hard, but really means, I gave myself away. I didn't ask how the showing went. She didn't ask why I didn't. We watched a sitcom rerun and laughed in all the right places. 2 actors. 1 set. Cue the laugh track. But inside, I'd already started packing. Not my clothes, not yet. Just pieces of who I thought she was. There's a funny thing about betrayal. It doesn't hit you all at once. It trickles in like a leak under the sink, silent, slow, but by the time you notice the puddle, the damage is already done. Wednesday came like any other day. Eggs, toast, her in heels. She kissed me on the cheek and said, I'll be back late again. Open house followed by a team dinner. Team dinner? I asked. Yeah, Derek's taking us out. Big numbers this quarter. Sure, I said. You've earned it. She didn't notice my tone, or maybe she did and chose to ignore it. Either way, she was gone in minutes. The door shut behind her like a period at the end of a lie. I called in sick. Then I called in a favor. My old college roommate, Gabe, ran a security and surveillance company now. Paranoid types, cheating spouses, corporate fraud, he'd seen it all. When I told him what I needed, he didn't ask questions. Where's she keeping her car these days? He asked. Usually at the agency. Sometimes showings. But I bet she's at Derek's a lot more than I know. He laughed, low and tired. All right. Gimme the make, model, and plate. I'll get you eyes by tonight. The rest of the day was a blur. I paced. I cleaned the kitchen. I deleted old photos of us on my phone, then undelete them. My stomach felt like it was arguing with my spine. At 9:13 p.m., Gabe texted me, got something. Sending pics now. I opened the folder. 4 images. Her car. Derek's driveway. A blurry kiss in silhouette under the porch light. The door closing behind them. That was it. Nothing X-rated. Just real. Real enough to snap the last thread I'd been clinging to. I stared at the pictures for a long time. Then I opened a new note on my phone and titled it, Exit Strategy. Thursday morning came with fog. Not the kind outside, the kind behind your eyes when you've been holding too much in for too long. I sat at the kitchen table, nursing black coffee and staring at the corner of the counter where she usually left her keys. Today, they weren't there. She'd already left. Early. Earlier than usual. I checked Gabe's app, the tracker was live. Sure enough, her car was parked downtown, near a cafe she never mentioned. Not unusual in itself. But in the background of the GPS ping, Derek's name on the building directory of the office next door. I got dressed. Casual, but ready. Jeans, jacket, and enough resolve to finally admit what I already knew. Instead of going to her, I went to the agency. The receptionist, same girl, more nervous this time, blinked when she saw me. Oh. Hi. Natalie's not in today. Personal day. Of course she is. Mind if I wait? I asked. You can sit, but she might not. I won't be long. She nodded and turned back to her computer. I walked the hall slowly, pausing by her office door. Closed. Locked. I could still smell her perfume, that citrus vanilla blend she always wore when she wanted to feel confident. Or desirable. I peeked into the conference room where I'd seen her with Derek. The table was set for a walk-through meeting. Notes, clipboards, a fake succulent centerpiece. But all I could see was the scene burned into my memory. Her buttoned blouse. His hand. My heart breaking in silence. I left without saying goodbye. That afternoon, I went to the lawyer. Tell me what I need to know, I said. He didn't blink. Just slid a folder across the table. Proof helps. Photos, logs, maybe an audio recording or two. But it's a no-fault state, so if you want out, you don't need permission, just paperwork. And if I want to protect what's mine, then we'll play smart. Quiet. Let her think she's in control until you've got the edge. I nodded. Took the folder. Signed the retainer. On the way home, Gabe called. You were right. She went into Derek's office around 8:15, didn't come out till almost noon. I've got the footage if you want it. I don't, I said. Not yet. Copy that. But if you change your mind, it's logged and safe. Thanks. That night, she came home with a smoothie in one hand and a tired smile on her face. Long day. Open house was chaos. Downtown, huh? Her hand froze on the fridge door. Yeah. Why? I shrugged. Just curious. She kissed my cheek. Too quick. Too cold. I let her walk past. Let her believe the lie was still intact. But the lock on my heart, that was already changed. By the time Saturday rolled around, I was a man living in two houses at once, the one everyone saw, and the one in my head where every shadow had a voice, and every silence had something to say. She was on the phone again. In the kitchen. Whispering. I know. Monday. I'll figure it out. Then laughter. That kind that's half flirt, half secret. I wasn't supposed to hear it, but I did. Through the hallway wall, while pretending to fold laundry I didn't plan to put away. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I drove to Gabe's office. Neutral ground. No rings. No vows. Just two guys and a laptop. You sure you're ready? He asked. I wasn't. But I nodded. He hit play. There she was. Natalie. Sitting across from Derek in his office. Same tight smile. Same body language that used to be mine. He leaned in. She didn't pull away. I miss you, he said on the tape. I know, she replied. But I can't yet. He's suspicious. Suspicious. Like I was the villain in this story. The video kept going, touches, low voices, her laughing at things that weren't funny. Gabe paused it. You want copies? Yes. Flash drive or cloud? Both. When I left, I didn't go straight home. I drove to the new development on Belmont Ridge, the one she said was her dream project. She always lit up talking about it, the way some people talk about a first kiss. I parked. Walked the model home she'd personally staged. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. Throw pillows at just the right angle. Coffee cups on the counter like someone just stepped out of the frame. Fake lives. That's what we were now. A staged home with no one living in it. I stood in the faux nursery. Soft lighting. A rocking chair. The same one she bookmarked last spring when we thought maybe, just maybe, we were ready to try again. But the woman who picked out those curtains wasn't the one I saw on Gabe's laptop. She was someone else now. And me? I was just a ghost wandering through a future that would never come. Sunday morning started like any other. Toast, coffee, and a silence too familiar to be comfortable. Natalie was scrolling through her phone at the kitchen island, humming again. Same tune as always, the one I used to think was cute. Now it sounded like static. I've got a showing later, she said. That couple from Eastview. The ones with the golden retriever. I nodded. Want me to come with? She laughed a little too hard. Why? You bored of your own life now? She said it like a joke, but her eyes flicked up too fast. That kind of reflex you can't coach out of someone who's hiding something. No, I said. Just like seeing you work. She shrugged. I'll be quick. Back by dinner. But I already knew she wouldn't be. Gabe had eyes on the address. And the couple from Eastview? They'd closed last week. After she left, I sat on the edge of the bed, trying to remember the last time she looked at me like she used to, like I was her anchor, not her obligation. I couldn't. So I started packing. Not everything. Just the things that mattered. My dad's old watch. The photo of us in the mountains, the one where we actually looked happy. A small suitcase with 2 days of clothes, and one flash drive with enough proof to drown the truth in ink. I wasn't leaving yet. Not tonight. But soon. Before I zipped the suitcase shut, I pulled out the photo. I stared at her smile, back when it meant something. Back when I meant something. Then I took out a pen and wrote on the back, I believed in us longer than you deserved. And I tucked it into the lockbox she kept hidden in her closet, the one she thought I didn't know about. The one I'd seen her slip papers into when she thought I wasn't watching. Let her find it. Let her wonder when I saw, what I knew, how long I waited. Let the silence do the talking for once. Dinner came and went. She was late, of course. Walked through the door around 9 with that well-rehearsed exhaustion, the kind where you flop onto the couch like you've been out saving lives, not saving lies. Sorry, she said. The showing ran long. The couple wanted to see every closet. Then Derek needed help uploading pictures for the website. I nodded. Must have been a long day. She rubbed her neck. It was. You okay? I will be. Something in my tone must have landed differently than I meant, because she tilted her head like she was trying to read between the lines. But instead of asking, she got up, went to the bedroom, and closed the door. I sat there in the quiet, fork tapping against a plate of food gone cold. The next morning, I printed the first draft of the divorce papers. Grace, my lawyer, said we could hold off on filing, but I wanted them ready. Seeing her signature line on that page gave me more peace than I'd had in weeks. Natalie was out again. A breakfast listing, she'd said. Then a team call, and then I might swing by my mom's. A full day of half-truths. I didn't ask for details. I just nodded and packed the last of what I needed. Before I left, I walked through each room of the condo, not like a goodbye, more like inventory. I looked at the books she never read, the photos she'd stopped updating, the expensive throw pillows she always said we needed. We didn't need any of it. We just needed each other. But even that had an expiration date. As I reached the door, I saw her wedding dress, still zipped in its protective bag, hanging in the hallway closet. I touched it. Lightly. Like it might disintegrate. Then I walked out. Not because I was giving up. But because I was done giving her the best of me while she gave someone else the rest of her. I stayed at a friend's place that night. David. The kind of guy who doesn't ask too many questions, just makes up the guest room, hands you a beer, and lets you sit in silence until you're ready to speak. You gonna tell her? He asked eventually. I don't know, I said. I think she already knows that I know. She just doesn't know how much I know. The next morning, I drove to Grace's office. Let's file, I told her. I'm ready. She didn't blink, just slid the final papers across the table. You sure? No one's ever sure. But I'm certain enough. She nodded, and the wheels were in motion. That afternoon, I did something I hadn't done in weeks. I showed up at an open house. Not hers. Mine. I met with a quiet agent on the other side of town. Middle-aged, steady, kind eyes. She handed me a brochure for a modest home with a big porch and just enough space for one. Starting over, she asked. I smiled. For real this time? Something like that. Meanwhile, back at the condo, I knew Natalie would walk in and find the quiet missing, my keys gone from the hook, my shoes gone from the rack. Just the echo of what used to be us. I didn't leave a note. I didn't need to. I'd already left a message in the lockbox, on the photo, in the way I disappeared with more dignity than she left me. That night, she called. I didn't answer. She texted, "Can we talk?" I left it on read. Because sometimes the most honest thing you can say is nothing at all. Monday morning, the world didn't end. Birds still chirped. Traffic still crawled. But inside me, something felt finished. I stood in the kitchen of the rental house, mismatched cabinets, a humming fridge, a view of a backyard that didn't hold any memories. And somehow, that emptiness felt more honest than anything I'd known in months. Natalie hadn't stopped trying to reach out. Another call. Another text, "Please, let's talk." I didn't mean for it to get like this. But that's the thing, no one ever does. Affairs don't start with blueprints. They start with inches. Glances. Excuses. The kind of distance you don't notice until it's wide enough to fit someone else inside it. I met Grace at the courthouse. The papers were filed. "Want to grab a coffee?" she asked as we left. "Maybe another time," I said. "Today I just want to feel done." She nodded. She understood. When I got back to the new place, I found a letter in the mailbox. No return address, but I knew the handwriting. I didn't open it. Not out of spite, but because I'd already read enough. Her version of the story couldn't change the ending. And I'd finally stopped needing her permission to move forward. That night, I sat on the porch, wrapped in a hoodie, legs propped on the railing. The moon was out. The breeze was soft. It wasn't dramatic. It was just quiet. And in that quiet, I found something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. No more pretending. No more staged smiles. No more wondering when the next lie would come. Just me. Still here. Still standing. Still enough.